Today, I'm going to tell you about 10 WWE secrets that will amaze you and you never heard. Number 1. Wrestlers have to pay for their own transportation. Knowing the hectic schedule of WWE superstars and the daily travel needed to fulfill their commitments to numerous shows, it is always assumed that the transportation is arranged and paid for by the company itself. However, this happens only for a select few superstars, and it's ironically enough those at the top of the card who tend to be paid the highest. Mostly, the wrestlers have to pay for their own transportation to reach the different arenas and perform. Not only that, wrestlers also have to pay for their own wrestling gear for their characters. Only select top stars are allowed to reimburse their transportation charges and their wrestling gear charges. Number 2. Vince McMahon wanted WWE to be an adult show. Whilst WWE's target audience is children, a market that it's really thriving in right now, that wasn't Vince McMahon's original vision for his product. The former WWE owner wanted the company to be targeted towards more of an adult audience, and that was clear for all to see with some of the storylines and angles that he had play out on Raw and SmackDown each week. Number 3, female WWE superstars are paid less. The gender pay gap in WWE isn't nearly as bad as it is in other sports, but there's no getting away from the fact that the women in WWE are paid less than the men, regardless of their spot on the card. In figures released for WWE's highest paid stars of 2023, prior to CM Punk's return, only 2 of the top 12 are females. The point is driven home even more when you consider that Ronda Rousey, who was one of the company's top earners, left after SummerSlam 2023 and is now a free agent, going on to work for Ring of Honor. Becky Lynch is believed to be WWE's highest paid female star, with a base salary of $3 million a year, but she's still earning 4 times less than Brock Lesnar, who reports claim has a base salary of $12 million each year. Number 4. Backstage fights are very common. 2 wrestlers feuding on TV doesn't mean that they don't like each other backstage, but real-life fights between talent backstage really aren't as uncommon as some people would have you think. If reports are to be believed, sometimes talent who work together on screen really actually don't like each other behind the scenes, and that's being evidenced right now, with reports of a feud between CM Punk and Seth Rollins being planned for January 2024. Sometimes, there's even fights between the wrestlers, whether physical or verbal, that go on backstage when there are creative differences between talent. There's been well-known examples of that in AEW over the last 2 years. But don't think it doesn't happen in WWE too. Number 5. Commentators don't know everything. You'd think that, to do their jobs properly, WWE commentators are aware of everything that's going to happen on TV, but that isn't always the case. For example, at Survivor Series 2023, Michael Cole and Corey Graves didn't know that CM Punk was going to return to the company, with Triple H not altering the commentary team ahead of time. Cole and Graves were told to stay quiet during the return, something that fans praised them for. But in other segments where the commentators do speak, WWE wants their reactions to big moments to be as organic and real as possible. Number 6. Social media restrictions. WWE ensures that all talent follows a social media code of conduct, which isn't too uncommon for companies with the size and reach of WWE. Things are much better now since Triple H has taken the lead, as Vince McMahon had pretty strict rules regarding the social media activity of stars when he was in charge. Numerous controversies regarding the Twitch accounts of stars also came out a few years ago. However, the restrictions seem to be removed now. While wrestlers are smart enough to use the medium to enhance their character work and rivalries, Vince wanted to monitor every move the stars made, and also share in the profits. Number 7. Getting fan reaction isn't everything. You'd think that becoming beloved by the fans is the way to get pushed to the top of WWE, but sometimes, if it isn't what management wants, it doesn't work out that way. Take the case of Zack Ryder in 2011, for example. The former WWE superstar became the company's most beloved star, but because Vince McMahon didn't want to push him, the reactions he was getting didn't amount to anything. In fact, Ryder was punished, in the eyes of many, for getting over in spite of WWE's booking, not because of it. You'd think that the boss would have wanted to make the most of his popular star. But that isn't how things panned out. Again, things are slightly different now that Triple H is in charge, as the game has shown more of a willingness to listen to what the fans are saying. But at the end of the day, the sentiment remains the same. WWE needs to want to push you for anything to happen. Number 8. Vince McMahon's crazy pitch for his children. Vince McMahon had some crazy storylines play out on WWE TV, particularly during the Attitude Era. But even more bonkers are angles that were pitched but didn't make it to television. One of the craziest pitches from Vince involved his daughter Stephanie McMahon, where it'd be revealed that he was the father to his daughter's child, something that's frankly disgusting. To make matters even worse, the storyline was supposed to culminate with it being revealed that Stephanie's baby didn't belong to her father, but rather her brother, Shane McMahon. Thankfully, the storyline didn't make it to TV, but it's really quite hard to believe that Vince ever even suggested the pitch. Number 9. Promos are often scripted. Sometimes it seems like WWE superstars are speaking from the heart during their promos, but more often than not, that's not the case. Only a select few WWE stars, such as Kevin Owens, Roman Reigns, and the returning CM Punk, are able to cut promos that haven't been pre-written by the writing staff. If promos haven't been written word for word, the creative team will create several bullet points for a wrestler to hit during their time in front of the audience on the mic, ensuring that all of the story beats are hit ahead of a big match or feud starting. Number 10. Props need to be pre-approved. For wrestlers, one of the most important things that needs a lot of work is the gimmick. Becoming a main eventer in WWE is the goal for every wrestler, but being fantastic in the ring won't cut it alone. For that, props might be used sometimes to either engage the WWE universe or enrich the heat their character generates from the fans in attendance. While these props are brought in by the wrestlers themselves, to some extent, they need to get them approved by the company. Superstars are not allowed to bring props out on TV without getting them approved by the management. This doesn't apply to wrestlers having creative freedom, which WWE doesn't give to everyone.